Hi guys, I hope that you're doing well, and in today's video I would like to discuss a forecast for the upcoming month, April. What a big month. I do have 5 events to talk about with you guys. I found them the most significant, so I decided to talk about them mostly in this video, and I am going to move on straight to the forecast for each zodiac sign, but I do want to mention which events I'm going to be talking about in this video. So the first one is a new moon in Aries on the 1st of April. The second event is a conjunction between Saturn and Mars in the sign of Aquarius on 5th of April. A conjunction between Neptune and Jupiter in the sign of Pisces on 12th of April. And then the fourth event is the full moon in the sign of Libra on the 16th of April. And the final event is, of course, a solar eclipse in Taurus on the 30th of April. So we are going to have a new moon, a full moon, and a solar eclipse all in the same month. So let's move on to the signs now. I don't want to waste any more time. Hi Aries, I hope that you guys are doing well. So 5 events of this month. The first one, new moon in your sign in 11 degrees. Well, this one is going to be big for you. It's going to happen on the 1st of April. From what I noticed, when lunations happen on the 1st and 7th house axis, that usually indicates a change that is really hard to predict, because it could be something very personal, but at the same time, it could be something that you may be sharing with another person, with your business partner, with your romantic partner, with a family person, family member or a friend. There is this new project that may be coming up here between you and someone else. It is a project that maybe is offered to you by someone that is connected to you on the daily basis, but at the same time, this project will help your own personal growth. From what I've noticed, from what I have experienced during new moons and in the 1st and 7th houses, is that children can be born, children can be made around this time. You could get married, you could get divorced, you could sign a very important paper, very important document. You could receive some good news regarding your documents. Maybe there is a very important interview that's going to go well around this time. Overall, this is a very powerful time for you, and something new will start, and you may even continue developing this new project for the next 6 months, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 6 months, but it will be very useful for you. I am going to make a separate video on the new moon though. Now on the 5th of April, there will be a conjunction between Saturn and Mars in Aquarius in your 11th house, and truthfully, that's one of the challenging aspects of this month. I believe that Saturn is a teacher that wants us to move forward, that wants us to complete a certain task, and Mars is all for it. However, the nature of Saturn is very restricting, right? Very constricting. So there seems to be this urge to go and get something done, but at the same time, Saturn is limiting your options. It's making it more challenging to get it done, because it wants you to walk on this very narrow path. You know, it doesn't want you to go left or to go right, only forward. And it's just very difficult sometimes. You know, it's hard not to make mistakes. Sometimes it's hard not to maybe want to ask for help, but here you're supposed to be moving forward only. And this could even be something that gets manifested over time, maybe within the next couple years. It may not be something that starts in April and ends in April. This is kind of like a long-term project, but there is an urge to act, especially with your planet Mars conjuncting Saturn. There are some limitations that are also coming up that you will be aware of, but at the same time, Saturn conjuncting Mars will make this path the most straightforward for you and the most almost perfect in a way, meaning that it will not allow you to look elsewhere. It will not allow you to stay off the track. What could it be connected to? It is in the 11th house, so there could be a group project that you may be involved in that you will be a part of in a very major way. But also what's interesting is that there could be this duty, almost responsibility, that Saturn and Mars are putting on your shoulders, that either come from a group, meaning that the group is requesting this of you, or this is something that may help a group, right? Like make some sort of progress. Whatever that might be, whatever this group is that you belong to, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see how it manifests in your life, because yes, it can be in some way challenging. But I think also that the 11th house is all about our goals, all about our gains, right? Our salary and things like that. And if there were some things that you had a problem with regarding your salary, regarding maybe how they treat you at work, how much they pay you, this is a good time to possibly solve that issue, you know, and be very straightforward with whoever you need to confront. On the 12th of April, Neptune will conjunct Jupiter in your 12th house, and that is a magical time. It's a very standard, almost like traditional transit, right? Because it is in the 12th house, it is in its home in Pisces. And I've already made a video on this. If you would like to watch it, I will link it in the description box. And this event will open your eyes to divine powers, to your divine destiny. You will understand by communicating with higher power somehow, maybe through your dreams, maybe through medication, oh my god, meditation. But you know, I would say that if you don't meditate, you should probably either try that or maybe a different spiritual practice, something that brings you closer to the divine, right? Maybe you ask with tarot cards, maybe you ask the pendulum, whatever that might be. But if you are not quite into it, you know, I suggest maybe being just a little bit into it around the 12th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th of April, because you could receive some really interesting answers from higher powers, from higher beings, right? And again, it could happen on a very subconscious level, not that they will show up in front of you, right? But more like in your dreams or something. Very mystical time, very magical time here. Also, if there is like trauma from the past that you've been battling, this is a good time to confront that issue with Neptune and Jupiter and heal it, right? Heal the wound and no longer have to come back to it. On the 16th of April, this is the fourth event, we're going to have a full moon in Libra in your 7th house. And especially if you are Aries ascendant, this is a powerful time for you. Again, April is a very important month. When we have lunations in the first and 7th houses, major things happen in our lives. Again, we sign very important documents. We're finally done and over with a certain document, right? Especially Libra being a sign of legalities and order. In your 7th house, negotiations, contracts, there could be clarity that comes regarding your relationship, regarding one of your personal relationships, and you will make a choice whether or not you want to step up with a person on the next level, or maybe you want to abandon a friendship, a relationship, a business partnership, and so on. Again, there will be a video coming up about that. And even if you are Aries Sun, for example, or Aries Moon, this is still going to be a very significant time for you guys. There will still be some clarity here. There will still be some culmination, you know, finishing touches to projects, to contracts, to even relationships, to things that you no longer need to work on. And the last event, on the 30th of April, it is the solar eclipse in Taurus in your 2nd house. Throughout the whole year, not necessarily just in April or just in May, you will experience changes in your financial situation. And this eclipse, Taurus overall, will teach you new ways on manifesting your financial freedom. Taurus will teach you how to let go of certain possessions that you no longer need and to obtain new ones, better quality, more substantial, more important to you personally. And maybe you could expect some changes in regards to your income, how you make that money, what you spend your money on, right? It's almost like you're going to get a virtual account on QuickBooks, or is that the name of it? Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like the financial situation, the structure will be organized, will be changed in ways that work for you. And of course, it can bring new source of income. It could bring possibly changes in your income in literally numbers. Or it could have you let go of a certain source of income so that you can build a new foundation. But here's your April, guys. I hope that this was helpful, and I am moving on to Taurus. Hi Taurus, so I would like to talk to you about 5 very important events of April. The first one is the new moon in the sign of Aries in your 12th house on the 1st of April. So if you have been dealing with immigration documents, 12th house does rule foreign countries, faraway places, paperwork that's kind of hidden, right? Then things could come up here, information could come up, some invitations to interviews could come up, right? Maybe just some notifications if you are going through immigration process, or if you're trying to travel to a foreign country right now. Also, new moon in the 12th house does give us a project that we will be working on in silence, kind of behind the scenes. We're not quite ready to show it to the world. We're willing to work on it privately for now. We're not ready. It needs to be adjusted many times. It needs to be maybe inspected in some way, right? Brought to perfection before the world sees it. And this could be actually a relationship too. Like, for example, you have a relationship behind the scenes. You don't want to quite talk about it yet. You don't want people to know about this person, but yet you're actively developing that relationship behind the scenes. And that could actually last for 6 months. This hidden lover, hidden relationship, hidden project, hidden work project, hidden creative project, right? There could be many different projects here. So that could be the theme of it, but we will talk about it in more detail in my new moon video. On the 5th of April, there will be a conjunction between Saturn and Mars in your 10th house. And this one is big for you. This one will definitely influence you more than other signs because you are a fellow fixed sign. And here, there will be a lot required from you from by authorities. It's someone that you consider an authority, someone that maybe is in the government position, someone that is in management position, someone that you look up to, or someone that maybe you're even slightly intimidated by. It could be bosses, it could be even parental figures, you know, that are very respectable, obviously, and someone that you listen to, someone that you look up to. There could be this duty, this responsibility, this project that may be requested by these people, and you have to act here. You have to take action. You have to finish a certain project, or maybe start a new project, right? And with Mars, it's like, yes, let's go for it, but then Saturn is putting limitations. It's making it more difficult to achieve that goal. And it's frustrating, right? Because when you're asked of something, when something is required by you, from you, you want to take action. You want to act. You want to make it perfect. But Saturn can make it a little bit more challenging. And it can even be the energy of a responsibility that you will take on for a cycle of about 2 years. You know, this is something that you could be really actively working on without even realizing that this is one of your main priorities. But it will start in April. It would show itself in April. And while this is something that you're very determined to achieve, it is also a little bit hard to do. And it's in your sector, the highest sector of your chart, you know, your powerhouse, your status, your reputation house, you know, how people see you in public, how they view your image in public. So a lot of effort will be put into this particular area of life, and you will work hard. And if you don't want to, if you try to refuse, you'll be forced to work hard here. So beautiful achievements can come to you through your career, through the change of status, through whatever else that might be. But it has something to do with the professional area of life. But also a lot of effort will be required to achieve it. And I think you will, because you are a Taurus after all. On the 12th of April, this is the third event, Neptune will conjunct Jupiter in your 11th house. It makes a beautiful sextile to you. You seem to be really resonating with a certain group of people, with a certain community, with a club, whatever they may be, an online community, a forum, you know, a gym. I don't know. There could be this group of people that you find to be otherworldly in a way. But how? I feel like it is because of the connection that you have with these people. It could be a group of interests that are not quite your average everyday kind of interests. It could be a spiritual kind of group, a psychic group, tarot readers group, astrologers community. But you really are drawn to them, and they get you, and they accept you, and they understand you, and it feels like divine friendship here. Of course, also this conjunction can bring a profession in a spiritual field, right? You could be a healer, you could become a healer, a Reiki master, a tarot reader, and so on. But I do have a video on this already, so check it out. The link is in the description box. On the 16th of April, there will be a full moon in the sign of Libra in your 6th house. So this is where you may finally complete a set of documents that you've been collecting over time. Maybe there was a duty also that you needed to complete, and here's your timeline. You completed by the 16th of April. Usually it is the type of documents that we have to run around for. We have to print something out. We have to ask for this person's signature and get this person's signature. And it's frustrating, but yet it's necessary. And this is the kind of project, if it could also be a work project, right, that could be completed by this deadline, right? On the other hand, this could talk about your health. Clarity regarding a health issue may come up. For example, me, you know, I'm a Taurus sun, but I still try and stay open-minded to sun sign astrology, right? Even though I do prefer to watch these by the Ascendant, and I recommend this to you as well. But for example, for me being a Taurus, full moon in Libra in the 6th house, I have parosmia. I've had parosmia for a very long time. And after I had COVID, obviously, in 2020. And I'm still suffering with parosmia. And I've tried many different things and just won't go away. And I've been trying different supplements now, and they seem to slightly be working. Can I say that this is how it could play out for me, for my health issue? Possibly, right? Because the supplements that I'm taking, I am starting to notice a difference. So maybe this is my clarity, this is my path that I need to be on to treat my problem. So this could be something similar to that. You know, a health issue could come up, and or at the same time, a solution to a health issue could also come up. So you no longer have to come back to it with this full moon. Again, there will be a video on it as well. And on the 30th of April, there will be the biggest event of them all, a solar eclipse in your sign, in your 1st house. Now, if you are not Taurus ascendant, then this eclipse will happen in a different house. But if you are Taurus ascendant, yes, it will be your 1st house. So what can I say here? Your personality, your approach to life, your approach to your finances, to your relationships, to your profession will change so much within a year. Not necessarily right in April or in May, just throughout the year. It will change drastically. You will start seeing things differently. You will start doing things differently. It is all connected to your path. It is all connected to your, almost I would say, divine destiny, right? Something that you are meant to be transforming right now, something that you are meant to be doing. And it could be that a lot of focus this year should be on you and your priorities and what you wish and desire, not what someone else wishes and desires. So it's very important to understand for Taurus that they should choose them over anything or anybody. So yes, especially if you are anywhere between, I want to say maybe 7 degrees Taurus all the way up to 13 degrees Taurus, you will feel this particular eclipse the strongest. So I am personally very excited for these eclipses. I think that they're going to be a good time for us. But thank you guys so much for watching, and now moving on to Gemini. Gemini, so we do have 5 major events to talk about here, and there will be the first one. There will be a new moon in the sign of Aries in your 11th house on the 1st of April. And this can literally manifest as a new friend comes up. New friend enters your life. They are very active, very fiery, very ambitious, and that rubs off of them on you. So meaning that, you know, you start getting interested in the things that they are telling you about, and you seem to be aligning with this new acquaintance, with this new friend, to a better path in some way. But also there could be some information that may come around regarding your salary, something very specific regarding numbers, or maybe regarding bonuses, right? Because 11th house does rule bonuses, and that should be a very, I want to say, a very nice time for you. It is making a sextile to you. 11th house also rules groups, different groups of people. So there could be not necessarily just one person that may appear in your life. It could actually be a group, the whole community, that you may feel like you are aligning with. You feel like you can resonate with them. You feel like this is your new, what's that word that everybody uses nowadays? Squad, right? Yeah, well, you're finding your squad here. Now, on the 5th of April, there will be Saturn conjuncting Mars in your 9th house in Aquarius, and this conjunction, surprisingly, will like you. Saturn and Mars, this is a kind of explosive combo, but they are so different at the same time. You know, Mars is about acting, taking action, being very fast. It's speed, it's fire, yet Saturn is constricting, restricting, limiting. Like there's just not enough room, it's suffocating. So what it seems like to me is that this particular conjunction will open a new door for you, 9th house, a new path for you. And you will see your future, almost a very, very distant future from now on. You will see almost this horizon in front of you, where you want to be in life, and also you're going to be pushed to the awareness of how to achieve that life. And with Mars and Saturn, this is when you start acting on this dream. This is when you start moving towards that dream. And I feel like you could encounter some obstacles along the way, even though Saturn in Aquarius does like you and it favors you in a way. But at the same time, still Saturn is a teacher, and Saturn is there to make our path limited in a way, but so that we don't make too many mistakes, right? It stops us when we're about to make a mistake, even though we don't recognize it as a mistake quite yet. So this is a new path that you're going to see, new horizon you're going to see. It's going to feel very exciting to you, but at the same time you're going to be aware on how to get to it, and it may require a lot from you. It may require a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of energy. Now also what this could be is, for example, if you are connected to a legal case currently, there will be some developments here, and you will have that green light to act, to go and speak up, to go and tell them what you are all about, to defend yourself, right? If you are currently in a legal case. Now, the next event, the third one, is Neptune and Jupiter conjunction in the sign of Pisces in your 10th house. And it is going to be exact between, honestly, 10th and 12th of April. You may feel it throughout the whole month of April. I've already made a video on this, so if you want to check it out, it'll be in the description box. So 10th house, of course, this is about career, status, reputation, public image, the top part of our chart. So there seems to be this almost fame that could occur, guys, to be quite honest with you, you know, because this is the house that is very futuristic. It wants to show you what the future can look like if you put effort into it. And that's the problem sometimes, you know, we can't quite achieve certain results because we cannot put that much effort in. Sometimes we just can't. And here with Neptune and Jupiter, there almost seems to be this magical opportunity in your career. Maybe the company that you've always wanted to work for, they're gonna have a opening, you know, to apply for a job, to go to the interview. Maybe you will be invited to go to an interview. You will maybe receive a job offer of your dreams, right? Maybe you will become famous, especially if you're trying to become famous, but keep in mind that fame can be different. Also, this could maybe be an opportunity to prove yourself to a large audience, an opportunity to prove yourself to potential employers, to management, to some people in authority, to the government as well, if you are trying to, for example, change your status in a way or defend yourself on a certain case. But just keep in mind the 10th house always makes a square to the first house, to our ascendant, right? So in that case, you will have to really work for it. You will have to show all of the effort that you have, right? You will have to use it. You will not just receive something magically. You will have to work for it, but the results will be beautiful, because these two planets, they want to give you treasure, they want to give you beauty, they want to give you success. They do, but you also should meet them halfway and work for your success. The fourth event, full moon in Libra in your 5th house on April 16th. So 5th house, also beautiful house that makes a trine to you. It likes you. That means that, you know, if you were thinking about possibly getting pregnant, right, trying for a child, it could be a very good possibility that it can happen around this time. There could also be a possibility to maybe finish a certain creative project, and yet it is creative, but at the same time it can make you money, it seems. It can make you money, it can be shown to the world, you know, it can be something that may be a hit. So if you have an idea, for example, if you have been working on a song, if you've been working on a performance, if maybe you have an Etsy page, you know, something, it could receive recognition around this time. But I will have a video about this later on. And the last event, solar eclipse in Taurus in your 12th house on 30th of April. If you've been trying to immigrate, if you've been trying to go to a different country, to a faraway place, but you haven't been able to travel, here's finally your opportunity. A document may arrive, an interview date may be set, maybe you are going to literally just travel around this time. I would not recommend traveling on the 30th of April though, but somewhere around that date is fine. And of course, you know, with the 12th house, there could be a situation that comes up for you from the past to deal with. And since it is a solar eclipse, it is something new. It could be a solution to a certain trauma, to a psychological trauma that you may have been dealing with. It could be dragging from your childhood, or it could just be some unpleasant experience in your life that you've been through, and now you have to, it's almost like you're always reminded of it, you always get triggered. So this situation could really be worked through not just on the 30th of April, but throughout the year, while the nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio. You will be working through those issues. You will be working through those fears of yours, right? Your sleep can be disturbed around this time. But at the same time, I feel like you may have a very strong spiritual experience while the nodes are in the 12th and the 6th. You will have an experience to where you will be put on a very good spiritual path that resonates with you deeply, on a religious path maybe. But you will just start seeing the world with different eyes. New eyes. So that is a very interesting eclipse for you guys. And again, you'll feel its influence throughout the year, you know, not necessarily just in April. But I hope that this was helpful, and I'm moving on to Cancer. Cancer, I have 5 events to talk with you about, and the first one is new moon in the sign of Aries in your 10th house on April 1st. Very big one for you. 10th house is the top part of our chart where we have to prove ourselves, we have to work hard for our goals, for our success, where we really are seen by everybody, are seen by authorities, where we cannot let ourselves down. Of course, we can, but if we have to work towards something, this is a very difficult path. Usually, you know, work is hard, achieving things is hard. So here with new moon, there could be a new job offer that may come around. There could be a new idea regarding your business that may come around. A new project at work to work on. A new source of income could be here as well. But I think it's more about your status. You know, for example, if you've been in the process of obtaining a new status, changing a new status, there will be some document that may come around this time. There may be some information that comes around, a message, and just that next step in a certain process. And I think that it will be completely done and over with roughly 6 months from now. But you have this time to start working on it, to really explore it, to maybe add something to it and then present it to the world or to the authorities, whoever that may be, in about 6 months from now. But I am going to have a separate video on it. On the 5th of April, Saturn and Mars will conjunct in your 8th house in Aquarius. And this one here can be tricky, I'm not gonna lie, because 8th house can be a little rough. You know, it is a house of crisis after all. However, how this could manifest is a situation in your life that is connected to a certain addiction. And by addiction, I also mean, yeah, I think I would just mean addiction. And it doesn't have to be addiction to certain substances, like, for example, alcohol, drugs, and so on. It is an addiction to a person as well, or it is being strongly dependent, codependent, right? Either with a relationship or codependent, or dependent on, for example, a parent for financial support, right? Things like that. So Saturn is here to be like, all right, so now you are going to become a big boy or a big girl, or you're going to become independent, right? You're no longer going to be addicted to this. This is ruining your life. Or you're no longer going to be codependent, you know, with this relationship. It's toxic for you. And Mars is also there to take action now. And you could start taking action regarding a certain toxic situation in your life. However, in some cases, it can play out as cutting off a certain financial connection, right, to somebody. What it could also be, could really go either way. For example, if you have a client that is like profitable in a way, you know, the services, for example, the client does pay well, right? For example, there can be a change either in this client's life, or maybe you're no longer going to be working with this client, or in fact, this client could start maybe getting even more services from you, for example, right? It could also just manifest as a change in the financial situation of your partner. Whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, whether it's a marriage partner, there could be some shifts happening in their financial situation, and you will be directly affected by that. But I would say it's kind of a challenging transit overall, and in the 8th house it can add a little bit of worry at first, but it does seem to give you a green light to be able to get rid of toxicity, to be able to get rid of dependence, right, on certain people, on certain situations. You will become way more independent in a certain area of life by the end of this transit. And truthfully, this is a cycle of 2 years or so. So you could be slowly but surely getting rid of toxicity in your life, and also changing your financial situation, maybe making sure that you only have good clients in your life, right? Or maybe making sure that your partner is okay financially and things like that. Now, on the 12th of April, Neptune will conjunct Jupiter in Pisces in your 9th house. And this is a wonderful time. I already have a video on this if you want to check it out. The link will be in the description box. 9th house is that path into the future. We kind of imagine what it's going to look like. It's exciting, it's magical. It's almost like the reality we could not imagine. Something here, some piece of news may come around in April that will make you believe in the best possible outcome in your situation. It can make you believe that you can move to this country, that you can win this legal case, that you are connected to a certain religion or a certain spiritual path, and it resonates with you 100%. That feeling, that beautiful feeling, is going to stay with you, and it's going to really, I feel like, transform your life starting April. I think that Neptune and Jupiter are going to bring a little bit of magic into your life, and they're going to potentially take you out of depression even. They could, in case if you are feeling depressed, because it's healing energy of Pisces that is here. On the 16th of April, there will be a full moon in the sign of Libra in your 4th house. So here, maybe a document will arrive regarding your property. For example, if you were trying to move homes, it could be finally a possibility here. You could actually make the move around this time. Maybe you've been trying for the last 6 months and it was unsuccessful, so now you will. Maybe there will be a person that wants to buy your property suddenly, and you couldn't sell it for a while, and now you are able to. Maybe there will also be a very final, a very direct conversation with a family member, because you need to get to some kind of clarity here, and you need to resolve a conflict here potentially with someone in your family, and that will also be successful here. So yeah, while the 4th house squares your ascendant, meaning that it adds a little bit of pressure. So you may be pushed to have that conversation with a parent or with a family member, whoever is waiting for you at home when you come home from work. That's who, And maybe also with the 4th house, maybe you have to add an extra document or have that last signature or finish something with your property taxes, documents, until it can be sold or taken care of in some way. And you'll do it. Maybe the last application to sign for an apartment, so you can rent it out. You will do it, and it will be a successful outcome here. Now, on the 30th of April, this is the last event, there will be a solar eclipse in Taurus in your 11th house. So here, guys, you will be presented a beautiful community of people that are like-minded, that are creative, that are in some way, this community, because it's Taurus after all, it's a money sign after all, this community will help you make money in some way. It could be that maybe you're starting a job online on social media. It could be that you maybe are going to start marketing your business online. It could be that you may find a community of like-minded people that will throw ideas at you on how to maybe generate more income in your life. But this could also be simply a great new community of friends, of like-minded people. It could be a club, a community, right? Online community, maybe even, that you will resonate with, that you will love, and you will understand that this is it. These are my friends. This is the group that I relate to. And it's going to be really nice and really helpful for you to have these people in your life, whether they are there for financial guidance, right? Or for just friendships, for things that you all enjoy together. I think that this will be a very nice eclipse for you guys. And overall, this year, while the nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio, you will be feeling that energy. You will be going through the groups of people, right? You will find that group. You will be potentially deciding to work online all throughout this year, not just in April, not just in May. So good luck to you, Cancer. And now we're moving on to Leo. Hi, Leo. So I have to talk to you about 5 very important events of April. The first one is going to be a new moon in the sign of Aries in your 9th house on April 1st. What a beautiful new moon for you specifically. This is going to be a good time to maybe take a trip, a good time to hear feedback about, not necessarily feedback, no, but maybe some information regarding a legal case as well, because 9th house traditionally is what? Education, right? So you could maybe start your path in education. It could be legal cases, right? So maybe there will be some new steps in your legal case. Positive too, you know, I believe it is positive. Maybe again an opportunity to travel, and also some spiritual beliefs here may come up, may become very important. There will be this new spiritual path that you are extremely interested in, and you feel like this is your calling, and you feel like you need to explore it further. And I encourage you to explore it further. I actually have changed my religious views around exactly a new moon like that in the 9th house, and I could not be happier, you know. So if this is something like in your subconscious, you know, deep down, if you feel like there is something there spiritually that is calling you, you know, something there that resonates with you, this new moon is welcoming you to explore it further. And I am going to make a separate video about this new moon. But the second event is Saturn conjuncting Mars in your 7th house on 5th of April. This one is big for you. You may start noticing. And this is kind of a 2-year cycle in a way, like you will be seeing changes and different kinds of tension in that area of life for about 2 years. So here, Saturn and Mars can make people that are connecting with you every day, your friends, your family members, your romantic partners, they not necessarily that they're going to be snippy with you, but they are going to be way too direct sometimes, way too straightforward, and a little harsh sometimes, you know, like they may demand more things from you. The contracts, for example, that you may be involved in right now, they also may present some interesting new developments, some interesting new rules. And on one hand, it should be good for your development. On the other hand, unfortunately, it can feel a little bit like frustration, a little bit like tension throughout this time. But also you are opposite of the 7th house, and this could also be you directing your energy at others this way. Saturn and Mars want to teach you how to be direct, straightforward. I do want to say respectful at the same time, right? But Saturn can be harsh. It's time to really show them who you are, what you're made of. and how well you can stand your ground and how well you can defend yourself. I feel like this could be different lessons, different tests between you and other people in your circle. Who will withstand this? You know, who will win? Who will prove that they deserve to be in your life? This is the kind of stuff I'm seeing with Saturn and Mars, to be honest with you. And I think that you will do well. I think this is a test that you can't avoid, but it will show you who is your friend, who is not, who belongs in your life, who doesn't, and it will also open other people's eyes to you, you know, your persona, and that you can defend yourself, and that you can be very serious and very responsible, and you can also be very straightforward and honest. So that's going to be interesting to see, guys. The third event, Neptune will conjunct Jupiter in Pisces in your 8th house on the 12th of April. And this event is going to be, I believe, honestly, about occult, about spiritual practices, about connection to God, relationship with God, doing research on things that are intangible, on things that are spiritual. I think you could really, it's almost like if you've had any deaths in your circle recently, or maybe not so recently, it's almost like you will understand now why life is the way it is. Why do we have this cycle, and what happens after death? I mean, I'm not saying that you are going to really know about it, no. But you are going to have the feeling of peace when it comes to mysteries in life, like death, you know. Maybe you are going to have peace with your own religious views. Again, you know, based on the new moon in the 9th house, there could be a very strong new spiritual / religious path that's opening up in front of you. It's very serious, you know. In 9th and 8th house, they're kind of both hinting at that. And I feel like maybe you will really dive deep into the research, into possibly otherworldly knowledge stuff, right? And maybe you will try and connect with the divine. I think it's gonna be a very mystical, very spiritual time for you here, and also the time of healing, because if some addictions may come up to the surface, some codependence issues may come up to the surface very obviously too around this time. There will also be healing involved here. Healing of your psychological state, of your mental state, right? Of your emotional state, traumas, all that stuff. Neptune and Jupiter want to heal you. They want to give you that beautiful, blissful, healing energy, and you should just accept. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a wonderful, magical experience for you. Now, the fourth event is happening on the 16th of April, and it is a full moon in Libra in your 3rd house. So here you could receive a certificate, a document, a legal document as well, that signature that you've been waiting for, that letter that you've been waiting for, that call, phone call as well could arrive. And this is just a culmination of something here that kind of involves documents. Possibly, because I'm also thinking about Libra. You know, Libra does rule negotiations and documents and things like that. So yes, I do think that here you could receive some correspondence. Maybe you could receive a certificate if you have just completed a course. And I think that this is something helpful for you, and potentially something that you've been waiting for the last 6 months, guys. And it's finally arriving around the 16th of April. And again, I will have a separate video on this matter. And the last event, it is a solar eclipse in Taurus in your 10th house on 30th of April. Now this one is big for you. So I just got done with eclipses happening on the 10th and 4th axis For me, my North Node was in the 4th. For you guys, it's in your 10th. So for me, I had to really focus on family. I had to really focus on my son, on motherhood, on the maternity leave. Even though I wanted to work, I feel like no matter what I tried to do, I just simply couldn't. You know, there were things that were stopping me from it. And for you, it's the opposite here. For you, it is a time for ambition. It is time for career ladder opening up so you can start climbing it. For you, there will be some predestined changes in your career that some of them maybe you're not able to control. They are just going to happen because they are meant to happen this year, and not just in April or May, but throughout the year. You will notice a shift. You may even, for example, if you're currently looking for a job, you may even work a couple jobs until you find the one. You may experience different ups and downs in your career throughout this time, but it will take you where you need to be. And yeah, I think it's going to be actually an exciting time. Yes, challenging, because the nodes are making a square to you. So yes, challenging, but very predestined, very important, and this is exactly where you need to be at this time in your life. So good luck, dear Leo, and I'm now moving on to Virgo. Hi Virgo, so I've got 5 major events of the month to talk with you about. So we do have new moon in the sign of Aries in your 8th house on April 1st. So there could be a financial change that happens in your partner's life, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, or a wife or husband. There could be a change happening there, and specifically with their finances. So that could be an exciting time, but it's something new coming to their life, and you are the direct witness of that, and also it influences somehow your life as well. You could also get a new client around this new moon if you are working with clients. If you've been waiting for a response from, for example, a IRS, right, like a tax agency or a bank or an insurance company, there will also be correspondence here finally, but it is something that's almost going to really truly manifest within the next 6 months. You know, it's not necessarily something that is done and over with now. Of course it could be, depends on the case, but a lot of these things are going to really come forward in the next 6 months, but we will make a separate video on that. Now the second event, it is a tough one. It is one of the challenging aspects this month. It is a conjunction between Saturn and Mars in your 6th house on April 5th. And this one, please be careful with your health around this time, because this one can really show an issue that you've been avoiding regarding your health, because Saturn, well, Mars, first of all, cannot wait. And Saturn really opens your eyes, and sometimes in a very rough way. So there might be a health issue that comes to the surface, and you will have to face it, and you will have to figure out ways on how to manage it. And also Saturn and Mars could come up with a very difficult, I want to say challenging, difficult, and yet very necessary task in your professional setting, like in your job. And there could be something here that you may be challenged by, right? And yet it is needed, this responsibility that is thrown at you, this duty, right? This project. It's definitely something that you will be working on, but it may catch you off guard maybe at first, or it may seem a little challenging, but it will be all worked out because it is there for a reason. It is there so that you can work on it and be successful with it. The third event is Neptune conjuncting Jupiter in Pisces in your 7th house on April 12th. Big event. I've already made a video on it. If you haven't seen it yet, please check it out. It is definitely the time, oh my god, this is a time for you to be planning a wedding, and this is how it is manifesting in my fiance's life right now, because he's a Virgo rising. You know, planning a wedding, falling in love, and this is the kind of love that is unexplainable, magical, fairy tale like, rose-colored glasses as well. You know, it could be, yes, but at the same time, it feels good. There are no boundaries. Everything seems like a fairy tale. And honestly, why not enjoy this moment? We are not gonna get one like that in this lifetime. On the other hand, how this can play out? Well, maybe some contracts may come up. Be careful of signing absolutely everything just because it looks good, right? Because Neptune does have a tendency to deceive as well. So be careful, but there can be some successful deal that may come through around this time because Jupiter wants you to succeed. The fourth event is a full moon in Libra in your second house on April 16th. And this one is concluding certain reports regarding your income. You know, for some of you, it could literally be kind of like the end of the tax season. You know, you could be finishing up your paperwork and sending it out to IRS. On the other hand, this could be maybe a report of some kind. It doesn't have to be an actual physical report. It can just be kind of in your head. You know, you're going to look at how much you're making. You're going to understand exactly where you need to be, maybe taking the finances. Basically, are you satisfied with the source of income that you currently have? Are you satisfied with those numbers? What do you want to change? I feel like that full moon can really shine its light onto the financial situation and allow you to adjust, allow you to change something. But honestly, this could be, for example, a final percentage, a final kind of number that maybe you and your company, for example, agree on, and this is what you're gonna start getting paid from now on. And maybe you were trying to achieve this number for the last 6 months but couldn't, and now you can. Now around this full moon you can, because Libra at the end of the day wants to add balance to this financial situation, to the numbers, to, you know, to whatever you're dealing with when it comes to your income. So yes, I do think that it might be a pretty good event, and I will have a separate video on that as well. And the last event is the solar eclipse in Taurus in your 9th house that makes a beautiful trine to you, and it is happening on the 30th of April. Wow. So if you have not traveled in a while, this is a good opportunity to travel, not in April necessarily, not in May, but throughout the year. An opportunity to travel, to go to far away countries, right? To maybe immigrate. That is a goal almost of this year. That is an opportunity this year that's comes to you much easier. Maybe the passport is going to be ready. Maybe you will apply for a passport. Maybe you will apply for a visa, but it can also change your outlook on life. For example, if you've never found yourself in any kind of spiritual state or religious, if you were never really interested in those things, if you're pretty pragmatic and logical, you know, you're maybe not necessarily an atheist, but maybe a agnostic, right? I feel like this year could be the time when you start believing. Either one God, multiple gods, universe, yourself, right? Whatever that might be, but it has a spiritual tone to it. And I think, yeah, a lot of people, a lot of Virgos that are not quite in it yet will be in it. Not in the obsessive way by any means, don't get me wrong. They will just believe in something that will guide them, that will shine its light to them, and they will feel very loved by that energy and very much helped and guided by that energy. But good luck, dear Virgo, and now we're moving on to Libra. Hi Libra, so I do have 5 major events of this month to talk to you about, and the first one is a new moon in the sign of Aries in your 7th house on April 1st. Very big event for you, and I've been telling Aries too that any lunations that happen on the 1st and 7th house axis, they can mean many different things. They can mean a new job, finally some kind of an important contract may come around, an important letter may come around, maybe a relationship between you and someone else will grow, go on to the next step, or maybe even you may get rid of a certain relationship in your life. It's no longer serving you. So in your 7th house, children can be born, pregnancies can start, but houses can be sold, houses can be bought, relationship can start and end, right? So many things here. I will have a separate video on this matter, but I do want to say that this particular month for you and for Aries is going to be very significant, especially if you are Libra rising. So the second event of this month is happening on April 5th, and it is a conjunction between Saturn and Mars in Aquarius in your 5th house. This one likes you, even though these planets are conjuncting each other, and it can be quite a uneasy event for a lot of people. For you, it is in your 5th house. So what can happen here? There can be worst case scenario in your dating life, in your love life. You could expose a person. You could maybe find out something about a person that just does not sit well with you. You will be almost forced by the circumstances, by Saturn, right, to act on this situation, Mars. So maybe you could abandon this partnership. Maybe you could really open your eyes to a certain person. There are definitely things that can be done here in the 5th house regarding your love life to improve it. But I feel like with Saturn and Mars, they're not really wishy-washy. They're not really sugarcoating anything. You know, if you have a problem with someone here, most likely Saturn and Mars will make you just deal with it once and for all. And overall, this experience can make you pay attention very closely to those partners, to those potential partners that may be coming around even in the next couple of years, because it will teach you certain signs of these, not shady people, but maybe unpleasant people to deal with. Now, on the other hand, there could be a very strong urge to start working on a creative project, but it's almost like with Saturn, it wants you to turn it into a source of income, potentially into your job. So if there is a creative project, if there is a creative thing that's been going on, it could be turned from hobby into a job later on with this energy. If you are starting your own business, or if you already have a business, this could also be, more powerful. This could be maybe you really going for it, really working on your business, really taking charge and making changes, and just having a lot of control over your business, really prioritizing it now and maybe even in the next couple of years. The third event that's going to happen is Neptune conjuncting Jupiter in Pisces in your 6th house, and it is happening on 12th of April. I find this transit to be a very healing time for your health. I think that there may be a health issue that maybe either you've been neglecting, or maybe it hasn't quite shown itself fully yet, where it may show itself, but at the same time, healing will also be there, a solution to this problem, an opportunity to find a good doctor, a good treatment, or maybe to just change your lifestyle in a way to adjust to this blessing that Neptune and Jupiter want to give you. And overall, this conjunction may kind of be like feel good type of energy. Like if you've been feeling very low energy, if you haven't really been satisfied with your life recently, Neptune and Jupiter can add a boost of energy, boost of blessings kind of in your day-to-day routine, really. But I do think a lot of it has to do with your health. It can also bring you even a pet that you have a spiritual connection with, a pet that is a soulmate, a pet that is your family member, your best friend, your soulmate, and someone that can heal you from depression or from anxiety and so on. But I do have a video on this matter, so if you want to check it out, it'll be in the description box below. The fourth event, it is a full moon in Libra in your 1st house, and it is happening on the 16th of April. Again, coming back to the new moon. Any lunation happening on the 1st and 7th house axis, These are amazing. These are very life-changing, even though they're just simple new moons and full moons. A lot can happen in that house. But anything that happens in your first house, whatever happens between you and other people, in the company you work in, your personal relationship, it somehow always affects you. Affects you in a way where you grow. You grow from the experience. You step on the next step. Yeah, you move closer and closer to either a certain goal of yours, or maybe you simply grow, and spiritually, mostly. And I feel like, yeah, I feel like here you will look back at 6 months, the last 6 months, and you will see how much you've done and how far you've come, and you will be very proud of yourself with this energy. But I will have a separate video on that. And finally, moving on to the last event, solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus in your 8th house, guys, on the 30th of April. Wow. So this one can be a little bit tricky. For example, if you've been codependent, right? Codependence no more, because Taurus wants you to be self-sufficient, wants you to be goal-oriented, wants you to be hardworking. You know, 8th house a lot of times can bring us some benefits that we don't quite work for. You know, we just get them somehow. And Taurus does it all themselves. So here, yes, you could actually be not necessarily pushed into being self-sufficient or anything like that, but yes, there could be some opportunities that may come up that you will take, and you will be more independent. And I don't mean it in a way that you might be dependent on someone financially all the time. I mean that it could be a codependent relationship. It could be maybe even an addiction. It could be being dependent on a certain person, on a certain relationship, on a certain situation. You know, that chain will be broken, and it will be broken within a year from now. You know, not necessarily in April, not necessarily in May, but throughout the whole year. While the nodes are still in Taurus and Scorpio, this is when this beautiful energy can occur. So you will be freed from something with this eclipse. And I think that this is a very exciting thing to happen here for you. But now we're going to move on to Scorpio. Hi Scorpio, so I do need to talk to you about 5 very major events of this month, and the first one is a new moon in Aries in your 6th house on April 1st. So 6th house is a lot of times a house of documents that we need to prepare for something, or work projects that we didn't necessarily come up with ourselves. We were given those projects. So this is where you can be given a new project to work on. And it could be even a project that you will be working on for the next 6 months. And you will complete it in the next 6 months, right? There could also be a new routine that may happen around this time. What kind of routine? Well, for example, you will change something like you will start, I don't know, taking protein. You will start going on walks in the morning around your neighborhood. You will start losing weight or maybe gaining weight, whatever you need to do here. That can be a routine that will be very consistent either for the next 6 months, or you will kind of reach that consistency, like you will make it permanent within the next 6 months. And also you could get a new pet, as simple as that. You could get a new pet with this transit, but I will make a separate video on this new moon. Now we're moving on to the second event of the month on the 5th of April, and it is a Saturn and Mars conjunction in Aquarius in your 4th house. This one is big for you, and this one can give you that push to resolve a certain issue with either someone from your past or with a family member, because in the 4th house, these are the closest people to us. You know, these are the people maybe that we grew up with, like our family, you know, or someone that we consider our family. But these are also childhood traumas. These are childhood memories. These are people from the past that may have been forgotten or not. And here, you know, with Saturn and Mars, something is almost like getting brought out onto the surface and faced. And I feel like it's kind of a personal relationship here with someone in this hidden private house, where you need to face it, you need to acknowledge it, and you need to resolve an issue. Now, if it's nothing personal, if it's nothing with family members or someone that maybe you considered your family or consider your family, if you don't have any issues with them, then it could be about property. It could be finally that time where you need to maybe defend yourself and stand your ground and prove that you deserve this property, this asset. You know, if you're trying to split assets, for example, with someone. Maybe it is the time to sell your property. Maybe it is the time to move out, right? But there will be a circumstance that triggers this situation. I'm not saying that everybody that is comfortable in their home has to move out around this time. No, you know who you are, right? You know exactly what you're dealing with and whether or not this could apply to you. But if you have some tension, if you have a conflict, for example, with your roommates, yes, it could bring a change. It could bring a change between you and them. One of you can move out around this time. That could be a possibility. An urge to buy a home, but at the same time you may be faced with some obstacles, and that's okay, you know, because Saturn throws them at you purposely because it wants you to make everything perfect almost, you know. So you will find the property you love and you will find the property in your budget. It may take a little bit of time, it may, but I think this is where that urge comes, this is where that necessity comes to go ahead and get that property. The third event, it is a Neptune and Jupiter conjunction in Pisces in your 5th house on the 12th of April, and I already have a video on that. This is a beautiful, beautiful transit, guys. Happens once every 166 years. And here you could fall in love. You could fall in love with someone. Be careful of rose-colored glasses though, but I feel like since this one does not happen again in our lifetime, maybe it's okay to have, you know, that fairy tale for a little while. But also the 5th house is children, right? It is pregnancy, so you could maybe get pregnant if you've been wanting to, right? And it feels magical. You're so connected to your child already with this transit. And it could also be maybe you even becoming famous in some way, you know, because 5th house is like creativity and you know, it's a house of acting, theater, performance, and this conjunction here could make you famous in case if you are working in that industry. Yeah, check out my video on this conjunction. The link will be in the description box. And now the 4th event of this month is a full moon in Libra in your 12th house on April 16th. So 12th house rules... Ooh, 12th house is interesting because it is the hidden house, right? And you've got some hidden energy going on this month. 4th house, 12th house. A lot of your changes will be happening kind of behind the scenes. But in the 12th house, there could be a foreign document that may arrive for, not a foreign document, but like a visa, right? A green card interview or something like that. Like, you have to still defend yourself in a way with Libra. You have to show your side. You have to show your diplomacy, your worth, right? But there may be a certain situation connected to foreign countries that is finally being concluded, finally being done and over with. A document, like I said, could arrive. You maybe could go to the interview, and there could also be the end of a certain project behind the scenes that you've been working on for the last 6 months, guys. So this could be, for example, literally a situation where you were hidden for the last 6 months. You were working on something but hiding at the same time, and now you'll be seen. Now you'll be seen, now you will be known, or your project will be seen and will be known. That's interesting. It's almost like you're about to come out of the shadows and present yourself to either a group of people, to your job, to the world, to whoever that might be. But yeah, It's been like almost like 6 months of hiding or preparing something in private, and now it's time to shine. And the last event of the month, it is a solar eclipse in Taurus in your 7th house on April 30th. A very significant one again. You know, the 7th house, first of all, having South Node in your sign, and then having North Node in the opposite one, in Taurus, that is an indication of you really needing to be focused on your social circles. Who do you surround yourself with? Who do you trust? Who do you sign contracts with? What kind of contracts do you have? What kind of negotiations do you usually involve yourself in? Are you truthful with your social circle? Are you truthful with yourself? Do you think these people are truthful with you? These are going to be the questions that the universe will be bugging you with throughout the year, not just this month. And by the end of it all, once the nodes move on, I mean, into other signs, you will know exactly who to keep around you, and you will know who to get rid of. But I think that if we talk about this specific one, then maybe the solar eclipse could bring something new, a new offer, a new job offer, a new person in your life that can be a potential romantic partner, someone very interesting, someone very stable, someone that knows what they want. And also it could bring you a very stable contract as well, financial contract, right? So yeah, there honestly will be so many things that happen on 1st and 7th house axis with these eclipses, but all that you should know now is that you will transform and become a better you. It's like you will not take crap from anyone. You already don't, I'm sure, but at the same time, you will just be more firm. You will prioritize yourself, your wishes, and you will make sure that your social circle reflects that too. So yeah, good luck, dear Scorpio, and now we're moving on to Sagittarius. Hi Sagittarius, so I would like to talk to you about 5 major events of this month, and the first one is a new moon in Aries in your 5th house on the 1st of April. This one is beautiful, it's making a trine to you, this one likes you, and what could it be? It could be a new love interest, literally a new love interest. Someone that is fiery, someone that is active, someone that is ambitious, and you feel like this ambition, this fire is rubbing off on you, and you're interested. There is fire between you and someone else. Now, if this isn't a love interest, for example, then this could be a hobby, a new hobby that you may get interested in, and it is something that maybe you will be actively developing for the next 6 months, and it could grow into something more serious. Maybe hobby will become a job, or maybe it's going to remain a hobby, right? Just like the relationship, this love interest, potential love interest that you may meet, they could remain just a love interest for the next 6 months, or they could grow with you into a solid couple. Pregnancy can also be a thing here for those that are interested, but I will make a separate video on this new moon. Now, the second event that is happening is a conjunction between Saturn and Mars in the sign of Aquarius in your 3rd house on 5th of April. So here there may be an urge to study, an urge to gain some kind of knowledge, gain new skill, gain a certificate. It's almost like you will see that you will have a goal. You will see that, okay, so these are the requirements. I need to get this certificate, I need to get this diploma, I need to go to this school. And it almost seems like you will actively start achieving those things, you know, maybe going to school or learning a new skill. This can also cause actually disturbance in your neighborhood, this particular transit, and it could maybe change something in your surroundings. Like, for example, if you go to a certain place like 3 times a week, 5 times a week, that is related to the 3rd house. So there may be shifts there, and forceful almost. Like, for example, a coffee shop that you go to 5 times a week will suddenly close down. Or maybe, you know, something may happen with your vehicle here, be careful, but it can also be an urge to buy a new one, or to fix a vehicle that has been in your garage for a very long time. It's all done for good here. It's all done for good, but it can come up a little challenging at first just because it's Saturn, you know. The third event is conjunction between Neptune and Jupiter in your 4th house on the 12th of April. This one is very big, very important, and it almost seems like it can bring healing to the whole family, guys. Healing to a family, healing to your relationship between you and your parents, you and your loved ones, whoever waits for you at home, you know, when you come home from work. These are the people that this transit could bring healing between. And also, you know, it's like a dream home. If you've been thinking maybe to move somewhere close to the water, this could be a very supporting transit. If you were thinking about overall just like changing a place of living, this is also a very good transit. But I do have a separate video on that as well, so you might want to check it out if you haven't seen it yet. On the 16th of April, there will be a full moon in the sign of Libra in your 11th house. Something will become very known about a friend, and I can tell in my experience how a full moon played out in the 11th house. I had a really good friend move away for work to a different state. So obviously we're still friends, but now we just communicate on the phone, you know, because she does now live in Texas. So yeah, you know, it's like a friend could simply just have to leave. And now maybe they were preparing to leave or thinking about leaving or getting their stuff together in the last 6 months, and now they are moving, and now you have to say goodbye. Now, on the other hand, in the 11th house, you could really receive a result for your hard work. It could be a bonus, it could be a gift, or it could just be that a salary, maybe that gain from hard work, from all the effort that you have put in before. And I do think that it's going to be positive. It is making a sextile to you, you know, and most likely this is going to be a very balanced situation, considering it's in Libra. It's going to bring balance to your life. It's going to make you feel like you are on the same page with someone, right? Or that you are pretty balanced, like you don't feel like anything is off here. On the 30th of April, there will be a solar eclipse in Taurus in the 8th house. And this one can bring some new clients. If you do work with clients, and Taurus is a financial sign, it can bring a major financial change to your partner's life. So if you do have a partner who you share a home with, a life with, there could be some major developments happening in their life. And it almost seems like you are here, your role here is to encourage them, to support them, and to be a witness of their major financial developments. Because yeah, for you and for your partner, your financial situations will be changing drastically this year, and they will be you will just be adjusting to it, really. But I feel like, yes, in the 8th house, this could bring some interesting developments, financial developments in your partner's life. Now, on the other hand, how this could play out, this could maybe be a new spiritual practice that may come around. You know, for example, you will get interested in a certain practice that is good for your body, yoga, for example, but you know that yoga has also a spiritual aspect to it. So maybe this is what you're going to be doing here. But it is something big, it is something life-changing, it is an eclipse after all. Can it bring a new crisis into your life? Like a new loan, for example, that you may have to be paying off. It can bring you a new loan as well. But a loan is for something significant. You know, maybe a new car, maybe a new home. Like, it's a big sum. It's not just, you know, it's not small. So that's that, dear Sagittarius. I hope that this was helpful, and now I'm moving on to Capricorn. Hi Capricorn. So I do have 5 major events of the month to talk with you about, and the first one is going to be the new moon in the sign of Aries in your 4th house on April 1st. What can happen here? You may receive some new developments in regards to property. For example, you've been trying to sell the property and now you're going to receive maybe a letter, a document, just some notifications regarding the process and how it's going, and it could really complete within the next 6 months. Now, also, this could be maybe a new offer on your house, right? If you have had your house for sale for a little bit of time, right? You could get an offer here. You could also maybe find an apartment that you want to move to, if in case you are trying to shift places, if you're trying to move. Also, if you've been applying for green cards, passports, if you've been trying to kind of secure your position, if you're trying to get citizenship, because this can also be a good time to maybe get some news about the process, some information. So I will make a separate video about this new moon, but I do think that, you know, it's going to be an interesting one for you, an important one this month. And also in the 4th house, you know, we can possibly get a new family member in a way, but I feel like it could be just changes in family members' lives, and you will be a direct witness of that. Now, the second event that I would like to talk about is a conjunction between Saturn and Mars in your 2nd house on April 5th. This one will encourage you to make money, will encourage you to work hard, will encourage you to really organize all of your sources of income, maybe get rid of some, maybe really create a strategy, right? How you should work, how you should make money, which clients to deal with, which clients to let go of, maybe to ask for a bonus, to ask for a promotion, right? All of these things could be manifested here. And your planet Saturn in conjunction with Mars will really make you act, will really make you take action, right? In regards to these changes in your financial situation, there is an urge to change something here, and you will be working towards that. The third event is a conjunction between Neptune and Jupiter in your 3rd house, and it is happening around the 12th of April. You will probably feel this energy throughout the whole month of April though. So the 3rd house, I've talked about it in my Neptune-Jupiter video. You know, you could get interested in something that you normally are not interested in. For example, astrology, or how to read tarot, or how to read runes, or maybe how to cast spells. And typically, you know, Capricorn is very serious and analytical, but here you're like, oh, you know, I do want to, you know, allow my intuition to kind of blossom and, you know, take over for certain periods of time. I do want to read tarot, you know, I do want to connect with the divine. I find that very interesting, and that knowledge can be coming to you very easily around this time, but it can also be an indication that higher powers will want to speak to you. 3rd house is communication, and Neptune and Jupiter, they're kind of godly, they are otherworldly, they are divine, and you may be receiving messages from spirit, messages from the universe, angels, gods, right? Somehow directly. Not that they will be standing in front of you and giving you directions, right? Or like giving you knowledge, but you will be able to communicate with them easier around this time, and especially through pendulums, through tarot cards, through astrology as well. So that should be a very mystical, very magical time for you guys. The 4th event that I would like to talk about is a full moon in Libra in the 10th house on the 16th of April. This one is also a pretty important event. Full moon in 10th house can talk about a completion of a very challenging but necessary project for work. It could be maybe a completion of certain documentation that you've been working on for the last 6 months, a work project that you've been working on for the last 6 months. This is finally that time when you can prove yourself to the authorities, to the government, to the bosses, to whoever, and really obtain that image that you need, that status that you need. Maybe your social status is changing here as well, and Libra wants to make it all balanced, wants to balance out the scale. So I find that it will be something very useful for you, something that maybe you have felt a challenge of completing throughout these last 6 months, but you're finally at the finish line, right? Because full moon does conclude something in our life, it does put something to an end. And you're finally able to put this difficult project aside, or these documents aside. You are ready for the next chapter in your career, in your professional life, or maybe in your status as well. And the last event that I would like to talk about is the solar eclipse in Taurus in your 5th house on April 30th. And this one is beautiful because it is making a trine to you. I think that you could really find a hobby of a lifetime this year. You know, it doesn't have to happen on the 30th of April or in May. It can happen throughout the year for as long as the nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio. And here you can find the true calling, that interest that you will be developing further, that will be in some way almost like a source of income. Eventually it will become your job. If it's something creative for you right now that you're simply enjoying, this could become a career for you. This could become something that will make you money, because Taurus is there after all. Taurus wants to turn hobbies into money. Anything it wants to turn into a source of income. So I find that to be a start of your child in a form of maybe your business, your creative business, your online business. Yeah, I think that would be very big for you. And again, like I said, not just in April, but throughout the year. I hope you guys found this helpful, and now we are moving on to Aquarius. Hi Aquarius, so I do have 10 major events to talk to you about, and the first one is a new moon in Aries in your 3rd house on April 1st. So when we have anything happen in the 3rd house, that is an indication that we may get interested in a certain topic and we will want to study it. It could be that you may want to purchase a course. You may want to get a certificate. You also may want to teach, right? It's not just learning and being a student, it's also about teaching and sharing knowledge with others. So there could be a job offer, for example, for you to be a teacher for someone, a mentor for someone. It could be also an opportunity to take a course, right? To get a certain certificate, to get certified in something, right? To get a diploma. That is, I think, what this new moon is going to be about. And also there could be some interesting developments happening in the lives of your siblings, and you can be kind of like a witness of those changes as well. And I will have a separate video on this topic. But then the second event that I would like to talk about is a conjunction between Saturn, your planet, and Mars in your 1st house on the 5th of April. This is where you will be forced to act. I feel like you will really need to prove yourself. You will really need to show yourself who you are, what you're all about, what you're here to do. And you could be proving yourself at the job, proving yourself in your personal relationships, proving yourself in your social circle, overall in your surroundings, in people that you have to interact with on the daily. Why? Because Mars needs to act and Saturn wants to make it all straightforward, almost harsh in a way, because it wants to bring it to perfection, this action of yours, this duty of yours. And why do you need to prove yourself? I think it's just time to shine, really, you know, and time to show people how serious you are about certain projects in your life, about certain goals in your life. And it's not that they weren't taking you serious, it's just that you've been feeling so many limitations, you've been feeling so much restriction, you've been feeling like you cannot get out of this cocoon, right? Is that the word? Like, you cannot move right, you cannot move left, you're pretty much, you know, constricted. And now with Mars here, you need to break through, and you need to really stand your ground, and you need to really prove yourself to the world. You know, having Saturn in your sign is never really an easy road, but it brings you to so many lessons, to so many advantages by the end of it. It makes you such a stronger person. And I think that you are going to achieve that, guys, for sure. Now the third event, I already made a video about it. It is a conjunction between Neptune and Jupiter in your second house on the 12th of April. And here you could almost feel guided by the divine power to a goal of yours on how to generate that perfect income. What kind of job, what kind of source of income you truly resonate with. Is this, for example, your accounting job? Or is this your tarot reading job? Right? It's just an example. Like, what do you resonate with more? Do you want to have multiple sources of income? Or maybe you just want to have one but substantial source of income, right? Do you want to work two jobs? Or maybe you want to, you know, adjust something here. So this is going to be the divine hint, the divine help, the divine support and guidance in terms of something so simple as finances. It's like the divine is coming to guide you where you need to be making that money. And I'm serious, actually. You know, I think that you will choose the right job, you will choose the right source of income based on the divine advice. So please listen to it around this time, but please check out my video about Neptune and Jupiter. I have talked about it there. On the 16th of April, we're going to have a full moon in Libra in your 9th house. And this is where, for example, if you've been preparing documents to go abroad, they can finally come to fruition. You can finally use that visa, you can use that passport. You can also finally complete a legal case, and I do believe that this legal case is going to complete in your favor because Libra likes you, 9th house likes you. There is a sense of, you know, it's success and it's finally done, and it could be something that you were stuck on for the last 6 months, and finally it is coming to an end and you are ready for a new path. Also, you know, with full moon in the 9th house, it can almost put a spotlight on your spiritual religious views, because at the end of the day, you know, 9th house is all about spirituality and religion. And here you could maybe realize that something that you believed in the past is no longer quite resonating with you. You could change your path, you could change your views. It could happen in April, like it could start happening in April. And truthfully, besides, you know, the spiritual paths, the immigration, the foreign countries and legal cases, it's also simply about maybe completing a certain course, completing certain education, you know, that maybe lasted the last 6 months, or maybe you were finishing up something in the last 6 months and here you are receiving your diploma, right? That could also play out that way, but again, I'm going to have a separate video on that. And the last event is the solar eclipse in Taurus in the fourth house on April 30th. A major event for you as well. I just got done with eclipses on the axis of 10th and 4th house, and my North Node was in the 4th house like yours is right now. What can I say? I became a mom around that time. It was 2020, 2021, and no matter how much I tried to also work while I was pregnant, you know, while I had a small child, I couldn't, you know, things just weren't working out for me. So I had to throw away my ambition out of the door, and I had to solely focus on motherhood, my family. And trust me, I love that. But at the same time, I know that there is a need to make money. There is a need to work. And a lot of things work-wise were not working out because I knew where my destiny was, that, you know, then. It was in my 4th house, in my family. The family that we created. And I will say this, it may not be the time for ambition, for professional ambition right now this year. It may actually be something that you know, your focus needs to be on the private life, on your family life, on your relationship with your parents and your own family if you have one. That's where your focus needs to be. You need to solve certain situations there, or you need to adapt to a certain new reality there, right? If, for example, if you are a new mom, like I was, still a new mom, but there are a lot of adjustments there, rather than on the top of the chart, right? Where everybody sees you, where you're shining bright, where there's your, you know, public image involved. What about that private part of the chart that nobody ever sees? When you come home to your people, right? That could be worked on very thoroughly throughout this year. And solar eclipse there could bring you a situation in your home. I don't know, maybe you could buy a home. I bought a home around this eclipse too, in the 4th house. Yeah, so you could buy a home, for example, with solar eclipse. You could just move. You could maybe, again, start a family of your own. It doesn't have to happen on the 30th of April exact. It can happen throughout the year, as long as the nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio. So yeah, that's what I have to say, guys. Good luck. And now we're moving on to Pisces. Pisces, I do have 5 major events to talk to you about, and the first one is a new moon in Aries in your 2nd house on the 1st of April. That is a new source of income coming up for sure. You know, this is something that maybe will push you to take action. Aries, you know, maybe, yes, you will have to figure things out. You will have to find time. You will have to find an opportunity to act. However, this is going to bring you more gains, more like a larger source of income, a different source of income, an additional source of income as well. However, with Aries, sometimes it can also be an expense that maybe you will have like a payment plan for the next 6 months to pay off, or maybe it will be an expense that will manifest in 6 months, but right now the idea will come like, okay, I want this car, but I will get it in 6 months, you know, I will prepare for it in the next 6 months. I will, however, make a separate video on this matter. On the 5th of April, Saturn will conjunct Mars in Aquarius in your 12th house. And here, guys, you know, this is a house of fears and sleep. Fears could be coming up, subconscious fears, fears of the unknown, fears of the future, fears of the past. Any kind of psychological traumas that you may have, they may also be coming around, and that's a very difficult one to deal with, even though, you know, this transit does not quite directly affect Pisces unless you have, for example, Ascendant in Pisces and a Sun in a fixed sign. Right, for example, in Scorpio, then it will affect you more. But at the same time, you know, in the 12th house, it's more of a hidden house, more of a private house. It could affect your dreams. It could affect your sleep. And me, as Pisces ascendant, I've already been feeling it. I hardly sleep nowadays anyway, but, you know, the last few nights have been almost like I sometimes feel like I don't quite sleep at all throughout the night, you know, maybe get a couple of hours. And I know it's only probably gonna get worse, you know, the closer this conjunction gets. It can also, like I said, be some psychological fears coming to the surface from the past. They're out of control, they just come up, you know, they bring you anxiety, they can bring you fear, but as long as we know about this, we're able to not necessarily keep it under control, but at least be aware of where they're coming from and why. It's not because something's happening, it's because it's in our subconscious and it likes to come out, you know, with Saturn and Mars here as well. The third event, it is your event. Neptune and Jupiter will conjunct each other in the 1st house on the 12th of April, and this event is magical, beautiful. It is a very direct contact with the divine, with the higher powers. Please do not waste that day or even that month. Try and connect with the divine as much as you can. Try and ask some questions to the higher power, because this is the month where they can answer. They can answer to a lot of questions. They can answer a lot of questions. They can help. They can guide you as well. I did also make a separate video on this transit. So if you haven't checked it out, please check it out. But overall, I feel like this is such a strong healing process for you. With this transit, you're going to feel brand new. Possibly after this, you're going to feel renewed, you're going to feel rejuvenated, mostly maybe emotionally and spiritually, because this transit is here to help. It's here to heal. It's here to heal us all through the lens of Pisces. And you will obviously be there to be healed, one of the first people in the row. But I would also say that a lot of people may require healing from you. So you can be compassionate around this time, but do not lose yourself, because again, you may be more vulnerable, more weak, more emotional around this time. On the 16th of April, there will be a full moon in the sign of Libra in your 8th house. So your partner's finances, something is shifting there. Overall, it is quite a financial month, I believe, because of the new moon in the 2nd, then full moon in the 8th. You know, financial structure will be changing. Starting April, financial situation will be different for you and for your partner. This could also be, for example, a client leaving, or maybe you letting go of a client. This could be culmination in regards to your tax situation. Maybe finally you're sending out your tax forms, because I think April is the last month to do that, right? It could be some answer that you may receive from your insurance company and so on. But maybe you've been dealing with this for the last 6 months. You've been expecting an answer, you've been expecting a solution, and finally here you are, you're getting it around this time. And the last event that I would like to talk to you guys about, it is a solar eclipse in Taurus in the 3rd house on April 30th. You may feel this urge, and not just in April or May, but throughout the year, to explore new paths, to learn as much as possible about different topics in life. And Taurus wants you to almost like study those topics and incorporate them in your job later. Like, I don't know, for example, me, I'm a Pisces rising. I'm currently studying a course, horary astrology, because I'm very interested in that field of astrology, and I'm going to be certified. And, you know, this is obviously useful for my job as an astrologer. And I think that, you know, that isn't obviously it. I want more, and I want other courses. I'm about to get a course on runes, not for job, you know, not to use runes for clients or anything like that, for myself, for my own personal spiritual practice. But it is a course, right? And it is knowledge that I'm going to obtain through studying. So this is how it can manifest. It can manifest as different courses, classes, certificates, diplomas, licenses, right? You may have to get licensed in something, but it will dramatically help you in your career, in your path. Why I think career? Because Taurus is here. Taurus likes to make money off of things. So you study now, you make money off of that later. This is kind of my logic when it comes to Taurus eclipse. What else can it bring? It can bring new developments in your relationship with your siblings. You could start a business together, you could start some kind of a venture together. There could be some major developments in their lives, and you will be a very direct participant in that. And overall, 3rd house is about communication, it is about knowledge. You will be having many new acquaintances throughout the year, not just in April, right? But throughout the year, as long as the nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio, you will be meeting a lot of different people. You will be acquainted with a lot of people. You will possibly have an opportunity to teach, but also to study, like I've already said. But I hope that this was helpful, dear Pisces. I hope that you enjoyed this reading, and I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.